Hey guys, welcome to this edition of Twin Flame Truth. Today I'm going to talk about why the twin flame journey is so damn lonely, but then suddenly, and how to make sure and how to get to the place where it's not. And yes, that is a place. Um, so, uh, yeah, I every single student I've ever had, and I felt this way as well. Just when they first come to me, and when I first embarked on this journey, um, it was just like, why doesn't anyone understand me? I can't talk about this with anyone. And of course, we all want to talk about it with everyone. Not advised, but it's just the nature of things. When we're upset, we like misery loves company, and we want to talk about it with people. We want to have the opinions of and the advice and the suggestions from our friends and our family and stuff, people that love us and care about us and who we help and give advice to, with romantic situations or other things. Of course we want to get that from people. But if you're anything like me and most of my students, first of all, you've talked everyone's ear off way so much about this twin flame stuff that your twin flame journey and how painful it is, and how you can't get over it, and you don't understand what happened. And then until all of a sudden everyone is just like, get over it already, move on. And they're just basically getting sick and tired of hearing you talk about it. And the reason why you aren't getting over it and aren't moving on and you are still talking about it is because that's impossible. Because how do you get over yourself and move on? The twin flame is you. You can't move on or get over yourself, right? Um, and but we may know that. We know that what we're going through and what we're experiencing, the level of heartbreak and soul-shattering despair that we feel when our twin flame leaves us is not even comparable to anything else, any other kind of heartbreak or soul-shattering experience. We haven't had a soul-shattering experience such as this before, probably. It's completely different. It's on a whole other level, and we know that because it feels different, right? We have just so much more pain and the obsessive thoughts. It's different. We know that because, we lived it or we're living it, and it's our experience. Um, Most of our friends, most of our family members, other people that care about us and we talk to about this, they don't get it. They don't get it. Any kind of heartbreak they've experienced has been like, any other type of heartbreak we've experienced prior to this, right? Yeah, it could suck. It could be, disappointing or whatever, but you get over it. Eventually you're like, next, right? I mean, but not with this twin flame thing, right? This just kind of haunts you. And it is a lonely journey because of that, because no one else understands. They don't understand unless they're going through this, and unless they've been here. And I mean, really, how could they? I mean, do you even understand what's going on? Totally? No, you don't. And you're living it, right? Imagine all these people that haven't yet experienced their twin flame journey. And so they can't even relate. They don't understand what you're going through. You may just seem like, really depressed or desperate or psycho or whatever, to them, because they don't get it. And that is what makes it a very lonely journey. Um, and I said earlier that I don't advise you discussing it with other people. I mean, as well-intentioned as they are, and as much as it might make you feel better in the moment of talking about it or bitching about your twin flame or crying on someone's shoulder, doing any of that is actually building up and feeding the energy, the polarized energy that's keeping you and your twin flame separated, and your pain going and your obsessive thoughts haunting you. It's actually exacerbating all of that. So that's why I advise not to discuss it with anyone. And on top of that, as we just discussed, they don't understand anyway. They just don't get it. They can't get it. So it's all a futile effort in and of itself, discussing it. But and that does, even if you don't discuss it or you do discuss it, whatever you choose to do there, it makes it a very lonely journey. And it's very understandable. We can't, expect people to understand things that we don't even understand ourselves and that they've never had to deal with, right? Um, so, I always advise my students, and I was advised this as well by my teacher, to not ever discuss your twin flame journey or your twin flame or any of it with anyone else. And yes, that can make you feel lonely at first. But that's because this energy that is keeping you and your twin flame apart, if you stop feeding it by stop talking about your twin flame and about your twin flame journey with others, then that energy starts to, it wants to be fed. So it starts to kind of like be like, feel sad and feel, like desperate and kind of freak out that it's not being fed anymore, because it's so used to being fed, because your whole life, everyone's whole life, we've been feeding this energy. This is the fear-based energy of the 3D world that we've been living in and amongst and feeding. And we're just so used to that. And that's how humanity operates until now, until the twin flame journey. The point of the twin flame journey is to get out of that fear-based paradigm, right? To ascend above that and to transmute from that fear-based energy into our soul love energy. And so how we have to do that is by stop feeding it. And yes, it feels comfortable to feed it. It's instant gratification to feed it. We're used to feeding it. I mean, that's just what we've always been doing since the beginning of humanity on Earth. In this physical world, we've been feeding this energy. But think about what this energy is. It's fear. It's fear-based energy. And the more we feed it, the more we build that fear. And the whole point, like I said, of this twin flame journey is to get out of the fear and to transmute it into love. And to do that, we have to starve the fear. We cannot feed it anymore. So any urge you have actually to even think about your twin flame, think about the twin flame journey, to especially talk about it and discuss it with other people, is all this fear-based energy just trying to grow and expand and feed. And, in the moment doing it, like I said, it could be instant gratification because, the fear is a little bit subsided as you're feeding it because, it's busy being fed and it feels like it's back in control. However, stop feeding the fear and the fear itself starts to freak out, and that causes you to get feelings of freak out. But actually, if you can make it past those feelings of freak out, you get to a point where, hey, you've starved out that fear a little bit and it kind of dissipates, and then it kind of gives up more and more as you stop feeding it more and more. So that's just a bit of advice here for that, to stop, discussing your twin flame journey and your twin flame and anything else related to it with other people who are not going through it, especially because, first of all, they just don't get it. And secondly, it's just doing more harm in the long run than good. But I did say, that it is a lonely journey until it isn't. And I promise you that it's not always a lonely journey, because as you stop feeding this fear, eventually, like I said, it goes quiet, it dissipates. I like to say that it goes to sleep. It never fully leaves because, as long as we're incarnated in physical form, there is fear-based energy there. But regarding the twin flame, it has to be asleep. I mean, if you want a full-on physical relationship with your twin flame for good for the rest of your lifetime here, you can't have fear there. You can't. It has to be all, your shared energetic field has to be all love. And so that's not regarding anyone else. We're not worried about that yet. That's way too much on our plate. Right now, the first step is to do it regarding the twin flame, because it's actually doing it regarding ourselves. And we have to square with ourselves first and love ourselves first, which means no fear, before we can move on to other aspects and people and things in our lives. So that's why the twin flame journey is the very first step of our ascension, of learning unconditional love and removing fear and transmuting fear to love. And that's how we do it with ourselves. We do it with our twin flame, by not feeding the fear. So we stop talking about the twin flame and discussing it with other people, the person or the situation, right? Or how we feel about it or anything. And so doing, we're starving out the energy. And then once that energy gets starved, and like I said, it's like it goes to sleep, regarding the twin flame only we're concerned with, then you all of a sudden, you're not lonely. It's the fear-based energy. It's the fear that makes you feel like you need to always have someone there. Like you can't be alone. Your fear doesn't like to be alone with yourself. Why? Because fear is the opposite of love. And when you have fear, you can't have love. And when you love yourself is when you feel like you're all you need and you're whole and complete with yourself. And you can't get to that space when there's still fear. So we starve out the fear to transmute it, to really change our whole energetic field to love. And of course, at the same time, as we're doing that and we're able to change our fear-based energy to love, we're also doing that for the twin flame. And regarding the twin flame, because the twin flame is our energy. So, it only takes one twin flame to do this because it's all the same energy, right? So we're changing our fear-based energetic field into love. That fear-based energetic field right now is polarized, keeping you and your twin flame separate. Because what's in between and keeping you separate? The fear. We take out the fear by not feeding it. We change it to love, and we can bring you and your twin flame together physically, right? However, at that point, before you bring you and your twin flame together physically, like I said, it can only happen when there's love there and no fear. But when there is no fear there, guess what? You don't care if your twin flame is there physically or not, because you don't need anyone there. You don't need to talk to your friends about it. You don't need to, have your twin flame physically there. And you know why? Because you're whole and complete and you're full of love. You are love. You are your soul. You are love. And that's all. You are everything that you could ever possibly want or need. And you really get to that, you shift to that place energetically when you no longer feed your fear. And it's in that space. And you know what? I call that energetic space, I call it meh. Like if you've ever seen the Emoji Movie or whatever, there's those emojis meh, right? Just like whatever, so what? Talk to the hand, that meh. When you get to that energetic space of meh regarding your twin flame, where you're like, whatever, he's here or not, but I still feel whole and complete because I am whole and complete in my own right, then that's when your twin flame is there. And that's when your twin flame physically cannot leave your side. That is the twin flame paradox. So I went off on a tangent there, but I just want to say this can start off as a lonely journey, but that's only your fear, the same exact fear that's keeping you and your twin flame physically separated right now. Stop feeding that fear by trying to talk about this and discuss this and all of this with everyone under the sun. Don't try to discuss it and talk about it with anyone. I mean, that may be difficult to do, and your fear-based energy right now is like freaking out about the thought of that. Well, how can I do this all by myself? It's going to be so lonely. No, being alone is not lonely. It's the fear that makes you feel lonely. Being alone is perfect because you're whole and complete on your own. And it's once you get to that energetic space and you really truly resonate with that, and you're in that energetic space of being whole and complete on your own, where you need nothing and no one, anything outside of you, then that's when your twin flame will be there physically. And not only your twin flame, you start to magnetize in like anything that you possibly could ever think that you desire. And actually, you're totally like meh about it all. It's great that it's there, but you'd still feel great if it wasn't. So hope that shed some light on, really how the whole fear-based energy works, the lonely aspect of this journey, how it can feel lonely, but really it's not. That's just your fear. It's an illusion. When you are alone, you are not lonely. That's just your fear. Being alone, you're whole and you're complete, and you are love. So stop feeding the fear and shift into love. Shift into your twin flame. So that concludes today's episode of Twin Flame Truth. I hope you guys liked it, and thank you so much. Excuse me. Thank you so much for tuning in today, and I'll see you in the next one. Lots of love. Bye.